Hey, after all the theory, we're finally writing some code in this lecture. If you watched my architecture video, and you really should to have a deeper understanding of all the fundamentals behind Angular 2, you know that an Angular 2 application consists of several components. So building blocks from which we build up our application and which we combine to create our website, our application in the end. Now, in this whole section, we'll have a look at those components, how to create components, how to configure components, and how to let components interact with each other, because we'll have more than one component in most applications. But let's start with the very basics, with just one component. Let's create one. Now, in my development environment, the way we set it up in the last video, and in here, I already got a component. This app.component.ts, TS stands for TypeScript. This file holds a complete Angular 2 component. So this file has everything which defines the basics of an Angular 2 component. And indeed, it is this component that we're seeing in this screen here, where we see the hello world. The hello world here is the text which is shown or which is inserted in our template here, the template of our component here. So this might look a bit strange here, probably does if you're new to Angular 2, and you probably are if you're watching this course. And you don't know it if you have an Angular 1 background either, because this is pretty new and this is the core of Angular 2, this component-based modular approach. That is the reason why you can read a lot in the internet that there is a big difference between Angular 1 and Angular 2. And it is this component-based approach that really sets apart Angular 2, or that is the fundamental core of Angular 2. Now, obviously, there are more building blocks to Angular 2 and we'll cover them all, but it's really important to understand this component-focused concept. Now, in my opinion, such a component-based orientation makes sense, because if you look at the way you create websites or you style your websites, when we're just talking about HTML and CSS, then you're probably having a header and a main container, and you have different sections with articles in this container, then you have the footer at the bottom. So you're already using components in this way. You're dividing your page up into several building blocks. And if you're using a templating engine, when you're coming from, let's say, a server-side background, when you're have some experience using PHP or anything there, then you probably used a templating engine to build up your views from several building blocks. So this is really the same concept here in Angular 2. This is this component-based approach. And in the next video, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this component and we're going to build our own component. See you there.